We're going to jump into the debate about buying versus renting. And in addition, we found three areas where it's cheaper to buy than it is to rent.
In today's market and affordability, what is going on with new construction home? Let's talk about that and see what it looks like these days.
All right, so this is the Max One market update. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm part of the Max One team.
My name's Ming Richardson. Glad to help you.
And so we want to jump right in and talk about, we did see a nice reduction in mortgage rates this past week.
Thank goodness.
For several weeks, we've seen interest rates moving down. We don't see them moving drastically into where we'd like to see them necessarily, but they are moving and they are moderating. We're very, very pleased to see. For the most part, the market is where the market is, right? And so, um, one
Still a challenge in
oh,
affordability. While
absolutely
we
is.
we totally understand that, especially with appreciation value of homes, but
With the as Ming was saying, affordability is the king, and so a lot of folks right now are leaning towards renting versus buying, especially our younger buyers, our first time buyers, that kind of stuff. We're seeing where a lot of people are holding steady with, I want to rent. I can't afford to buy, so I'm gonna
rent.
rent. And so, like, if you actually look at the numbers, though, what you're going to see is that over the past 30 years, rents have increased every single year. Now, the other thing that why rents have increased is property value appreciation has also increased over the last 30 or so years. As a matter of fact, if you look at the last 50 years, real estate has appreciated about 4.5% a year
Correct.
every single year. That's kind of the average, right? And so the old adage of what goes up must come down, that's not how it works with property value appreciation. There may be some, it may look like some
Little dips here and there.
wiggles here and there, but over the long term, it is definitely continuing to head up. And so no matter if it's a buyer's market, a seller's market, that kind of stuff. We have all sorts of people who believe that they can do what's called time the market, right? And what we find is that's not really the case. Like if you said, we talked about interest rates. If you wanted to look at the last time interest rates were here, and
Hmm.
you said, "Well, I'm going to wait until interest rates move down into 5." Well, if you did that in the past, you'd wait 17 years, and that's 17 years that
All that time you've been paying mortgage for
yeah,
someone else.
where
So,
you be
you
building
know,
equity.
I guess what we're trying to say is that, you gotta pick a point at some time
Hmm.
to decide if you're gonna buy. And that's where your starting point. The longer you wait, the higher the value of property is going to be, unless there's something detrimental that we don't know. But the reason why we ever had a crash in the past was because due to poor lending guideline and system,
Oh,
and that
in
has
2006,
been
yeah.
fixed. So no longer, this is why we get a lot of denial loans, is because at the last minute the lender found something wrong, or the borrower did not fully disclose what they all the debt they have. And when they do their underwriting, which is an audit on an individual on their risk assessment, that's where when everything pops up. So
Yeah, but a lot of renters, I mean, a lot of would-be buyers just think that it's
mhm.
going to be cheaper to rent. They can afford the interest rates. They can't afford to buy. And what we're saying is that in a lot of cases they're very, very similar. It's about what do you really want to do. Time in the market is a lot more important than timing the market. Now, overall, the vast majority of our buyers, even and especially our
Even the
younger
one that
buyers,
can't afford it, they still think home ownership is about almost 80% think it's a great investment.
it is a smart investment. And if you do look at where does wealth in the United States come from,
Home ownership
it comes from
all
home
day.
ownership. And so either you're going to gather that wealth as the homeowner, or you're going to pay a landlord, and guess what they're going to do?
You gather their
They're going to
wealth.
gather that wealth. See, there is a huge disparity between the net worth of a renter versus the net worth of a homeowner. And honestly, it's not even close. I mean, like the numbers
Hmm.
are so far on the scale that they're not even in the realm of even reasonable kind of thing.
So,
Yeah,
as a homeowner, your average net worth is around about almost $400,000 in
yeah.
Atlanta market.
Around 400,000, $396,000
Hmm.
is the average net worth for a homeowner. That's across the United States. How about for renters?
$10,400.
So, your first question you have to ask yourself is, do I want to rent and be part of the group whose net worth is a little over 10 grand? Or do I want to be part of a group whose net worth is almost $400,000? See, there's like no there's no middle ground there. It's absolutely ridiculous when you look at what that spread is. And so, do we know that home ownership is a challenge? Do we know that it can be a burden? Yes. Do we know that it is a smart financial move? And do we know that that's where wealth in the United States comes from? Yes. And so, if you would like to build wealth, for the vast majority of Americans, our wealth comes from home ownership. And so that's why buying versus renting is a smart move. Now, one other thing that's going on is if you look in a lot of the cities across the U.S. and in the Atlanta region as well, most of our counties, it is more affordable in the short term to rent than to buy. Now, does that mean that you
There's
should
no
give?
bargain to be
Yeah,
had at
no.
this time. So if you're deciding to move into either Newton, Clayton, or Douglas County, it is cheaper to buy there than it is to rent.
Yeah, these are three counties in the Atlanta metro area that if you compare rental rates versus what it's going to cost you to buy a home, it's actually cheaper to buy a
Hmm.
home in Newton County, Douglas County, and Clayton County. So be looking in those areas because that could be a significant area where you could go in and get ahead of the game right there. We are moving into a much more balanced market that right now where the number of buyers and sellers match up. We're seeing a lot more inventory come on the market right now. So this is a good time to be out there looking at
And
this.
there's a lot of pent up demands,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of buyers will love to buy, but they currently haven't got themselves into a position where they can buy. So all I'm saying is, y'all hold on steady and save and save and save, and also have a conversation with a lender because I can tell you right now, it's like trying to do something without knowing what is the process. When you talk to the lender, they can tell you pretty much what you
Hmm.
need and what you need to bring the credit score up or what you need down for down payment because those are two major factors when considering getting a loan.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about new construction for just a minute.
Hmm.
And so, first thing is that new construction. We kind of just want to point out something that some folks feel may be a negative. I don't feel that way, but we're seeing where the median square footage for just average new construction homes overall in the United States, that the square footage is going down. It's actually been going down since 2015, right? And yeah, roughly.
During pandemic,
And
they were
so
building up
yeah,
because
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a lot of folks were working from home.
Yeah. There was a bump then, but what we've seen is a fairly steady decline, and so where it's almost 300-400 square foot smaller than what it was just 7-8 years ago, kind of
Hmm.
thing. And first thing is you got to look at why, and the big why is affordability. If I build a smaller home, it's going to cost less. I can charge less. More people can afford to buy it. So right now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And what we mean by that is we see our builders are building a lot more what? Townhomes. There's a ton of townhomes that are coming on the market, and largely because that's a product that the builders can afford to build that a
And a
buyer
buyer can
can,
afford to purchase.
yeah, out there. Now, even
One
though,
one thing I do want to
yeah,
comment about townhome is that it's no longer the old style traditional townhome. It's more a lifestyle townhome anymore now, where they have amenities such as pool, playground, um, even a soccer field or field for flex play, and some of them are even gated. A lot of them have a longer driveway, so you can park more than just
yes,
two cars without feeling like you're right on the street. So it do check out townhomes because I think they're great for starter, and not only that, it includes all the maintenance. And I'm not trying to sell townhome. I promise you not. But at the same time, I do want you to know those benefits are
might be a good
there.
choice.
It might be a good choice, so you can spend more time saving your money versus paying somebody to cut your grass or what have you. So
Yeah.
this is a starter home. You know, when
But
you
on one
finish,
hand,
move up.
the square footage on new construction has gone down.
Hmm.
But when you put it in context, and that's what we really want to do right now, if you look at the average size of an existing home, so not for homes
A resale.
that are resale homes, yeah, the average square footage for a resale home is 1,800 square feet. And so the reason that I want to point that out is because when you compare that to the average size of a new construction home, it's 2,100 square feet. So it's 300 square foot larger. So even though we've seen the size of new construction going down, it's still fairly significantly larger
Versus
than
resale.
the average resale out
Right.
there. So there is good value to be had out there. A lot of folks just want to say, oh, homes are getting smaller. Homes are getting smaller. Well, you know what? The average resale is a lot smaller than the average new construction right now when it comes to that. So just stay open minded. If there's anything that we can do to help you realize your dreams of home ownership or selling your home or anything to do inside the real estate space, we would love to help.
So please visit us at www.maxmax1one partners with an s.com, or call us at 678-782-5050, or email us at ting@max1partners.com. Love to hear from you, and thank you for watching.
Bye.